We are back. We are full of turkey. We are full of stuffing, and we cannot wait to start talking about all the sports trades that you should be making on Sport Trade. I am Dan Coop, of course, joined by Anita Marks, as I am every single Monday. Anita, a belated happy Thanksgiving to you. How have you been? How's your trading been? How's your holiday?
I'm great. And Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I love it so much, right? Like family, friends, football, good food, lots of wine. My mom came to town, so that was awesome that she was able to experience Thanksgiving in New York City. So everything was great. And I played you'd love this, Dan. I played a Turkey Day teaser.
Yes.
Where I teased, I'm trying to think who was so it was Bills
Patriots,
Lions, right?
Yeah.
Bills Lions. So
Bills,
I teased the Lions up to like plus 16, plus 15 and a half. I teased the Dallas Cowboys down to -4. And I teased the Patriots up to like same thing, like I think plus 9 and a half.
Yeah.
So I won I call it my Turkey Day three team teaser. And so, yeah. So gobble. I won.
I spent my entire Thanksgiving trying to convince my entire family, really anybody who will listen, that we should be eating stuffing 365 days a year. There's zero excuse to only eat stuffing one day a year. It is delicious.
Huge.
It's just breads. It's just carbs. We eat them all every day. No reason not to have stuffing all the time. It's delicious. It's the best part of every single Thanksgiving meal.
I'd have to take like double classes at Soul Cycle each and every day if that was the case. My favorite is I like sweet potato casserole. That's my favorite.
That's a good one too. My favorite
Yeah.
thing is winning money on Sport Trade, which you can do by
Ha
entering the Market Movers Weekly Sweepstakes. We give away
Yeah,
$100 in the
baby.
program every single week. Just follow us on Sport Trade, the Sport Trade app on Twitter, and then quote tweet this show or any show, Market Movers program with Trade Up New Jersey. Another great week of trading here on Sport Trade. Not only is the World Cup going on, but another great week in the NFL as well. You had some really great trades in the college arena as well, talking about Michigan plus 7.5, which was an absolute cakewalk. And then SC minus 4.5 as well. So you did some good things on Sport Trade this weekend, per usual, Anita.
Yeah, so it's been rough sledding for me on the NFL side the last few weeks. So, but yes, in regard to college football, I was a little apprehensive because Corum, of course, was coming in with that knee injury, and sure enough, he did not play. But next man up, that's the philosophy in Michigan. Their defense was just really too good. I didn't even need the 7.5 points. So I got that at almost $60. And then I just love USC. I think Caleb Williams deserves the Heisman Trophy. I wasn't, if you're scared, say you're scared. I wasn't scared with Notre Dame. So I laid the 4.5 and I got that at almost $50. So I did well there. NFL had Washington, the Jags, the Jets, finally making goodbye, Zach Wilson, Mike White. Woo!
Love it.
So the Jets, Cleveland, as well as your Eagles, minus 6.5. Boy, they made me sweat last night. Woo! Just a little bit, but yeah. So losers. Actually, so it's so interesting. The games that I lost were my favorite games. So I lost Tennessee. I thought Tennessee was going to win. I lost Denver. The Raiders are just god awful. What's going on there? I lost the Chargers, and Seattle. I lost Seattle again. Yeah. The Raiders are just god awful. What happened there? Josh Jacobs is what happened. So Tennessee, Denver, the Chargers, and Seattle, I lost, and those were actually my favorite plays, and I lost those. So go figure.
It's always how it happens, right? Always how it happens. I'll tell you, I spent most of my weekend shorting outcomes on Sport Trade in the World Cup. We're going to give you an example later on in the game, but what do I mean when I say shorting outcomes? I mean, you are actually trading against something to happen. Now, this may not be the best play for an NFL two-way market, right? Where it's this team wins, that team wins. But in soccer, when you have a three-way market, which could be the US wins, Iran wins, or draw, then you have a really interesting opportunity to basically fade two of the three outcomes, or one of the three outcomes rather, so you can short it. And that's what I did multiple times over the weekend. If a game was involving a heavy favorite who was priced above $70 or something like that, you can short that on Sport Trade. So instead of paying 70 to win 30, you pay 30 to win 70. And now the other two outcomes are real possibilities. So I believe it was not Argentina. I can't remember who the favorite was. But in any event, they were trading in the 70s. I shorted them. The game ended up going as a 0-0 draw, a scoreless draw. But because I shorted that team, Anita, that means if the match drew or if the other team won, you win. And that's something you really can't do anywhere else. That's the power of sort of the three-layered markets, the three-way markets. Another reason that we wanted to, we'll dive into the NFL. We have released on Sport Trade more futures markets, specifically NFL division and conference futures. And
I love it. I love it.
An interesting conversation to be had here, Nita. So I'll pull up, this is for the AFC East. So again, futures markets, right? We're looking at the Buffalo Bills, who on Sport Trade are priced at $61 per contract to win the AFC East. Anita Marks, they're not in first. So when you look at this, you see your Miami Dolphins at 34.5. How offended are you? What do you think?
Here's the thing. It's not that you got to look at the schedule, right? Yeah. And the Dolphins. So by the way, let's preface. I think you're getting really good value with the Dolphins at $34.50. So if I was to play this, that is how I would play this. Okay. But look at the Dolphins schedule at the 49ers, which, can I tell you, I'm so stoked for that game this week. I think that's going to be the best game on the slate. At the Chargers, at the Bills, Green Bay, at the Patriots, against the Jets. Meanwhile, the Bills, they still get the Bears in week 16 and they haven't even played the Patriots once, so they get the Patriots twice. So I think a lot of this, the what the odds makers and in what the value and what we're seeing and why the Buffalo Bills are $61 is because of the remaining schedule. Again, I like the Dolphins. I love this offense. And so I think there's a lot of value in taking the Miami Dolphins here right now.
I just want to go through it week by week because it is brutal, the rest of this schedule. The rest of the way, the Dolphins get San Francisco, at Los Angeles Chargers, at Buffalo, home against Green Bay, at New England, against New York. That's tough. Let's see. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the last 6 are against teams with winning records. I mean, and you look at Buffalo. I think it's priced appropriately, but I think if Miami can win this week, if you grab them now and Miami wins this week, you're anticipating a big rise in value because I think they can beat the Chargers. Then they got to go to Buffalo. That I'm not so sure about. That's going to be a big determining factor whether this trade is going to win you money or lose you money. But I do think a case can be made that you could see a rise in value. Are you interested at all? I know you and Jets fans have a torrid history. $6 for the Jets to win the division. We found out yesterday they actually do have wide receivers capable of catching the football. Of course, the first time they've been presented with that opportunity since Joe Flacco was the quarterback. Any value at $6 for the Jets at 7-4?
And so here's the thing. I love that the organization made the move from Zach Wilson to Mike White. Definitely the smart move. And we saw him perform yesterday against the Chicago Bears. But let's be honest, the Chicago Bears, Dan, have the worst defense in the NFL. No Roquan Smith, no Robert Quinn. They traded both those dudes away. So it was a nice first game for Mike White. This week, they're going up against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota, a little bit more difficult opponent. So I think Mike White gives them a better opportunity to put points on the board. This Jets team is going to go as the defense goes. Their defense is their elixir. Their defense is their identity. They just need a quarterback, A, who's not going to turn the ball over, and B, that can possibly each and every game just put 13, 17 points on the board. Can you put 13, 17? Obviously, Zach Wilson wasn't doing that. So I think there's a lot of hope and optimism. I've got this Jets team making into the playoffs as a wild card. I don't have them winning this division. $6, if you're a Jets fan, okay, what's $6? You can't even get a cup of coffee at Starbucks for $6. So you want to put $6 on it, fine. I understand you want to root for your team. I just don't see it happening. I think the Bills and the Dolphins are just too good.
The NFC South is the most confounding, perplexing, vexing division in all of the NFL. And
it's the worst division.
Well, it is reflected here. Not a single team with a winning record. And yet, in our markets, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are controlling 72.5% of the market at last check. It's actually down to 71.5 right now. The Falcons, 16.5. The New Orleans Saints, 8.5. And the Panthers at 7.5. Now, let me present to you, Anita, a case for the Carolina Panthers. I pulled up the active markets right here. So this is the up to the second pricing. We have had a little bit of shifting since I made the graphic.
Okay.
Here's what I'm thinking. So Tampa Bay is selling at 71.5, or buying rather, at 71.5. You see next to it, this is advanced trading mode. So there's a beginner's trading mode and an advanced trading mode on Sport Trade. The advanced allows you to sell and take short positions on teams. You're seeing the Buccaneers selling at 70. So what exactly does that mean? If we want to sell the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the NFC South, you have to lay $30 to win $68.60, inclusive of a 2% commission on Sports Trade. What you can do here is not only can I sell the Buccaneers to win, but I can then buy the Panthers at just $7 to win. So that's 2 trades with an opportunity to 4 times your money. Now, here's why I think this is realistic. Tampa Bay, I think, is bad. I think they're led by a 45-year-old quarterback who's had a really difficult year personally. He doesn't practice on Wednesdays, and I think the combination of Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich is just not working from an offensive standpoint. I think offensively, the team is broken. Now, that's not exactly a crazy thought, right? Other people have had this thought. Let's look at the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers, I believe at last check, are 3-0 at home under Steve Wilkes. They have a schedule that is really not all that difficult. They go to Seattle. They're home against Pittsburgh, home against Detroit, at Tampa Bay, a team, Anita, that they beat 21-3 a month ago. And they finish up at New Orleans, a team they also beat earlier this year at 22-14 was the final score there. So to me, there is absolutely a path to where the Carolina Panthers can win this division. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to do this. I am selling the Buccaneers. I'm taking a short position on the Buccaneers, and I am buying the Carolina Panthers. So that's 2 trades in 1 futures market. Pull up my portfolio here, and you can see now it says a little short position here right next to Buccaneers. So I'm in for all that, and I think it returns over, just for those 2 contracts, over $150. So that's my play for the last month plus of the season.
It's solid, and I just don't have a lot of faith in Sam Darnold. Even though he did look serviceable yesterday, right?
I don't have faith in anybody in this division. There's nobody in this division worthy of faith.
This is a Carolina Panthers team, and it pains me to say this because I really do like Matt Rule. He's really a really stand up, really cool dude.
Nebraska head coach Matt Rule, yeah.
But this is a team now that has been is it regalvanized? Is that the right word I should be using? Right? Sure. Okay. That with this new interim coach and their defense isn't half shabby, and I'm just not sold on Sam Darnold. Listen, the Bucs, they take on the 49ers in week 14, and then they also have to take on the Bengals. So it's not an easy road for them. I think it's going to come down to Atlanta or the Bucs, and I think it's going to be decided the last week. They play each other the last week of the season, and I have my guts telling me that whoever wins that game wins this division. Atlanta, they're going up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, with TJ Watt back, they're better, but I think they can be had. I think they can be beat. The Saints, the Ravens, the Cardinals. Again, I think it comes down to week 18. So I think grabbing Atlanta right now at $16.50.
Yeah.
I think is the play here. I would not drop $70 on the Bucs to win because I think either Atlanta, and you make a great case for Carolina. So I think either of those teams could do it. My money, $16.50. I'm putting it on Atlanta, and like I said, I think it comes down to that last game of the season.
8-9 to me wins this division, and fortunately for you, Anita, the Falcons now at 15-5. So you saved yourself $1 there. There you go.
Great.
We'll quickly transition.
More Starbucks
go ahead.
For me.
Go ahead. Yay, that's a half a cup of coffee. We'll quickly transition to Monday Night Football. It is the game of the week in maybe 2 areas of the country. The Steelers going up against the Indianapolis Colts. The Steelers trading at 43.5 to win the game on the road. The Colts at 57.5. 2.5 is the line to cover for the Steelers. 49.5 for the Colts. 51.5. And an unbelievably low, laughably low total of 39.5. So, Anita, how do you size up Monday Night Football?
A few things. Number one, both these teams score on only 13% of their offensive possessions. Both these teams only average 27 yards per drive.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
A very dramatic silent pause for you to marinate in that. 60% of the Pittsburgh Steelers games have gone under. 82% of the Colts games have gone under. Both teams sport horrible offensive lines. One quarterback, as we know, is a rookie, very wet behind his ears, and of course is still learning how to read defenses. The other one is a statue back there, and of course that's Matty Ice. And you've got TJ Watt, who's going to be running him down. So needless to say, you know where I'm rolling here, and that is on the under. What is it? Is it 39 and a half? What? Yeah, under 39.5. That's my play here. That's my only play here because both these teams are just god awful.
Where does that come from? Wet behind the ears. Where's that phrase come from? I have no idea.
Do you want me to Google?
No,
Google
you don't
right
have.
now because
didn't expect you to know, but
I'm curious. Same like I get these phrases from my mother, like, oh, that's a cakewalk. Where'd cakewalk come from?
That I understand, right? You're walking to get cake. I don't
know. No, there's something. Go ahead. I'm curious. While I Google, I'm curious. How are you playing the Monday night game?
39.5 is really low. And you know what? I've actually been somewhat impressed by Kenny Pickett. I think George Pickens is a really talented player. Najee Harris has played a little bit better. Having said that, the Colts have one of the best defensive fronts in the National Football League. Jalen Warren is who I'm thinking of as backup. They have one of the best fronts in the National Football League. They held the Eagles in check in their great running game. And the Eagles ran for 363 yards last night, the most they've done since 1948. And this Colts team was able to hold them to just 17 points. So I do think points will be at a premium. I just don't think at 39.5, I'm willing to trade it until I see the first couple drives. I think this is a perfect example of an in-play trading game. I want to see how the first couple drives go to help inform what happens, because, you know, if the Steelers come out, let's just say, and take the ball and they go score, well, now there's only 32.5 points that have to be scored over the next, 55 minutes. You just don't know. So I think I would wait it out and kind of see. What has Google revealed to you?
Wet behind the ears means naive, immature, inexperienced. It is in a reference to a newborn baby, still wet behind the ears. It's an American phrase coined around 1902.
We're bringing it back.
When a newborn baby comes out, his ears are still wet. So still wet behind the ears. So now we learn something new every day here on Market Movers.
You come here for trading information and amniotic fluid information. That's why we're here.
Go.
That's exactly why you tune in every single day. All right, let's save the program by pulling up everyone's favorite Monday game here. The price is tight on Market Movers. Of course, Anita and I guessing every single week, not only the favorite for a football game coming up for the week that will be, but also what they're priced on Sport Trade to win the game outright, similar to seeing what their price would be on the money line. We are neck and neck. We are tied through 9 weeks, Anita, 4-4-1. So it could be that the 1 week we somehow tied could be the deciding factor in who wins the season series. We will start with the Bills and with the Patriots, a game that sees Bills, Patriots, right. So the Bills going to the Patriots. I foresee this being a home dog situation with New England, especially after they lost to the Vikings, a team that really nobody seems to respect in the odds-making community. So I will start things off by saying I think the Buffalo Bills will be priced at $66 per contract to beat the New England Patriots this weekend. Thursday, rather.
I think the Patriots coming off of a loss. Again, Mac Jones struggling on the offensive side of the ball. Odds makers love this Bills team. Even though it's in New England, I'm going Bills 72.
And it is Bills 68. So I barely get that one.
Wow.
So just to
I thought I was lowballing it. Like I thought maybe he'd come in at like 65, 75, 77. It's 68.
Sentiment's a weird thing.
I was way off.
Sentiment's a weird thing. I don't think people seem to respect the Lions, and I think the fact that game with the Lions was closer than maybe some of the experts think, and the Patriots defense, despite the fact that they sucked on Thanksgiving, maybe playing something into it. I don't know. All right, this is the Anita Marks Bowl. The Dolphins at the 49ers. The 49ers are the gambling world darlings right now, currently priced ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles on Sport Trade to win the Super Bowl. They have looked fantastic. Their defense, Anita, I believe they have not allowed a second half touchdown or point in the last 4 weeks.
4 games.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They can cover. They can rush the passer, and they can stop the run. Fred Warner, one of the best linebackers in all of football. Obviously, everyone knows what Bosa can do as well. So what do you say about the Fins and the Niners?
You have arguably the best offense in the NFL going up against the best defense in the NFL. I can't wait to see this game, but it is taking place on the left coast in San Francisco. So I'm going to go 49ers, and I'm going to say around $58, 49ers.
All right, I Price is righted you here. Please don't sue us. I had the Niners at 59, and it's 63, which I was shocked by. I think the Dolphins are legitimately good, but this just tells you that sentiment on San Francisco is out of control. out of control. People think these are like the 72 Dolphins, these 49ers. I can't believe it. No thoughts on that? That's okay. We'll go on.
Sorry, I thought you were going to move on to the next game.
Yeah, we're doing it right now. Jets and Vikings.
I mean, really quick before we do, I'm so thrilled that Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting quarterback, and not that I wish ill will on anyone. Trey Lance, but this is what's happening here. This is a team that gave up the kitchen sink to move up, and they drafted Trey Lance. If Trey Lance would be the starting quarterback of this team right now, they wouldn't be here, Dan. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that he has injured himself, but it's kind of similar to what we're seeing the Jets. The Jets have a top 3 defense in the NFL. They could no longer go on with Zach Wilson and the anemic offense that he was producing. They couldn't. This is an opportunity. You have to reach for that brass ring. And so it just so happened that Trey Lance got injured, and it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the 49ers would have been in the same situation the Jets were in if Trey Lance would not have gotten injured. So God bless Jimmy Garoppolo.
Handsome man. Jets and Vikings. Again, I think the Vikings, nobody respects them. The Jets are 7-4. They have a great defense, but Mike White, as you mentioned. So for the Vikings and Jets, the Jets traveling to Minnesota, I said 57 for the Vikings.
Yes, I'm going Vikings. I'm just $1 higher than you. I'm going 58. I'm going 58 here. Oh, look. Okay.
There you go. Don't act like I don't know.
By the way, my play here in this is the under. I want to see what the under price is. Jets defense, I think is really going to be able to get to Kirk Cousins. But I do believe that this is going to be a much more difficult game for Mike White, because of course last week going up against the Bears, the worst defense in the NFL, now going up against the Minnesota Vikings at home. So my play here is the under, by the way.
I know we're in a bit of a time crunch for you, so we'll move ahead right to the Titans against the Eagles.
Yeah, your Eagles scared me there last night against the Green Bay Packers. As we know, the Eagles are the better team. And I do believe as of late, we've seen their rush defense get a little bit better. That's really, to me, that's what it comes down to, right? Is can they stop Derrick Henry? I hope they can. Again, I'm going Eagles 68. Eagles 68.
This game really worries me. Many folks have asked me when I thought the first Eagles loss of the season was going to be, and I kept pointing to this game. The fact that the Eagles have to rely so heavily on Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, despite the fact that they've both been in the building for like 10 days, is worrisome. Now, both of them played okay. They were fine. The Packers have a decent enough offensive line. The Eagles have some of the lightest linebackers I have seen. They're not run-fitting linebackers. And without Jordan Davis, they can't truly play the 5-man front that they want to. I think the Eagles lose this game, frankly. However, I do have them priced as a favorite at 65, which is incorrect. They're priced at $70. And at last check, I believe Sport Trade Stats and Info, which is me, the Eagles have been priced over $70, I believe, 6 straight weeks. So the market makers love the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. That's my thoughts on it. Go ahead.
Before we move on, when I'm trying to think, who was the DB that went down? Joseph Gardner, right?
CJ Gardner-Johnson.
When he went down, who's the young rookie that came in?
Blankenship.
I love him.
Undrafted player from Middle Tennessee State.
He is all around the ball. Could you? He might be your difference.
Well,
Dan, he might be your. The kid is scrappy too. He might be your difference maker. That's all I got to say.
You want to know the difference between being an NFL?
Don't sink my blanket ship. Don't sink my blanket ship.
Oh God.
I like that kid.
Nothing ruins a broadcast faster than Mike Tirico saying you sunk my blanket ship. I was like, good God. That's what happens when you go to Syracuse, not Temple, I guess. You just ruin broadcasts.
Oh, ouch.
Shots fired. Here's the difference between being an NFL safety and being a safety who plays at Middle Tennessee State. Go and watch the Christian Watson touchdown and the angle that he takes to get him. And guess what? 65 yards later, it's a touchdown. The Chiefs and the Bengals will wrap things up here. Now, it's 2-2. It's 4-4-1 for the season. Anita and I are tied. We're 2-2 and the price is tight right now. This is the last game. So this is huge. KC and the Bengals. The Bengals historically here on Sport Trade have been habitually priced as favorites. And of course, everyone loves the Chiefs. So I contend that the Chiefs are going to be road favorites here as the top seed in the AFC against an ascending Bengals team that beat them in the playoffs a season ago in Arrowhead. This has revenge written all over it. But, however, I see this as the Chiefs trading at 60 because I believe wholeheartedly that they are the best team.
So the Bengals obviously have been playing a lot better as of late. We're seeing Joe Burrow doing Joe Burrow, cool Joe Burrow things. But I'm with you. I think Kansas City is the better team here, even though they're on the road. By the way, my play here is the over. Kansas City is expected to get Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase back for this game. So right. I love the over. Last time these two teams faced each other, the over hit. I'm going to go KC $54.
So it is KC 56.5. Therefore, Anita takes the victory. Look at the sad faces. So many sad faces. So you lead 5-4-1. And this is getting tight. This is going to happen all the way through January. It's going to come down to the last week, I feel like. All right, Anita, we've got about 3.5 or 4 minutes left with you.
Okay.
World Cup tomorrow. We're going to pull up the futures market because there has been a lot of shifting numbers, obviously, as the World Cup continues. Brazil, the biggest gainer. Well, these numbers, I think, appear to be out of date because at last check, Brazil was at 28.5. So we'll scrap that. Let's talk USA and Iran. The USA obviously has to win tomorrow or else their World Cup is over. I think the desperation here is baked into the pricing. United States trading at $48 to win, Iran $24 and $29 to a draw. You have been really good at betting these goal lines. What's your play?
Yeah, and it pains me to say this yet again, and that is I've got a draw here at plus 240. That's what you can bet on your favorite sports book, and that's how I would play it on Sport Trade. I also like the under at 2.5 goals, and I'm going to be at a local watering hole here in Hoboken, New Jersey, cheering on Team USA with a bunch of friends. But let's be honest, they don't have any finish ability. They don't have any great strikers that are going to put fear in people. There's no Messi. There's no Ronaldo, right? And meanwhile, Iran, they can play very conservatively. They can just focus on defense. A draw gets them out of the group. So I just think this match just does not bode well for the United States. In Iran, by the way, only one of their last 11 matches has gone over, and that was their last match this past week against England. So I'm going to be rooting for the U.S., but my gut's telling me it's going to be a draw. I think Iran is going to play conservatively. I think they're going to play good defense. So it's a draw, and also I'm going to play the under.
At the very least, it should be exciting knowing what's on the line for the United States team. They should be in attack mode pretty consistently. In that game against England, you mentioned it, no finishers. They just couldn't get the ball in the net. But plenty of opportunities. It was a fun game to watch, and hopefully the U.S. is able to get through group play into the round of 16 where anything can happen, of course. Anita, thank you so much for joining us as you do every single Monday. I know you've gotten more responsibilities because you're awesome, and people continue to find that out and get you to do stuff for them. So we're happy to be part of that mix here at Sport Trade.
I appreciate you, my friend. Enjoy the game tonight. Again, Pittsburgh and the Colts, the under is the play.
All right. Anita Marks, thank you so much. We are back here tomorrow with a very special guest, the CEO of Odds Jam, Alex Monahan, joining the program as Sport Trade and Odds Jam getting together. Not only that, we're going to do some live trading as well. So be sure to join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. as you do every single Monday through Thursday here on our Sport Trade social channels. That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.